Welcome to another episode of the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also a best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock potentials and guide them to succeed. Today, I have another amazing individual. This guy has accomplished so much in sports, especially in hockey, and then translated that success into business success. He is a Harvard graduate, a Harvard University Athletics Hall of Famer. He's done 13 years of pro hockey with stops in the NHL and also represented Team USA at the Olympics of 2018. He's worked with some of the most amazing trainers and coaches all over the world and taken that knowledge, that skill set, that experience, and now create a very special long-term athletic development environment for future generations and also future stars to come at the Dome. So please welcome the founder, the president, the GM of the Dome, Mr. Noah Welch.
Well, thank you.
How are you?
Yeah, good. That was a serious intro.
How have things been with everything that's been going on so far?
Yeah, I mean, challenging to say the least with starting a new business in 2019, late fall, early winter, and being shut down 3 times since being open. So definitely challenging, but we seem to have weathered the storm, and we're looking forward to hopefully a good fall and winter coming up. Those are our peak seasons at the Dome, yeah. So
Awesome. Well, we'll get into more details about those challenges later. But first of all, for people who don't really know who you are and what you do, give us your path, your story as to how you became the now president of the Dome.
Yeah, it's quite a story. I'm a man of faith, so the easy explanation for me is just by the grace and sovereignty of God. And but how did I get here? I married a girl from Red Deer. I'm from Boston. I grew up inside of Boston, and I actually never even heard of Red Deer until I met my wife, pretty much. And her brother and I were playing together for the Chicago Wolves. We were both in the Atlanta Thrashers system, playing for the American League team there, and he had introduced me to her, and the rest is history, so to speak. So this is what brought me to Red Deer. Prior to that, I did play hockey. I played 13 years pro, 4 years of college, 4 years of prep school hockey in New England. And just played hockey my whole life. Multi-sport athlete growing up, but played hockey consistently my whole life. Had big dreams of playing in the NHL and in the Olympics one day. And I was able to do that. Had a lot of help along the way. Got into the right systems with some great coaches, and was able to accomplish both those dreams. Mm-hmm. Knew I couldn't play hockey forever. Probably my third to last year pro, I started to work on this project that I'm currently inside of right now, and this is life after hockey for me. So I run a large athletic development facility in Red Deer, truly state of the art, one of the nicest ones in North America, and I love it. I get to work with athletes that want to pursue excellence and have big dreams, and it's really great to stick around sports.
What made you motivated to create this facility and create this program and these services?
Yeah, I guess the motivation was, what am I going to do after hockey, right? Even if I was a guy that, made enough money where I could retire forever, and I wasn't, but that wouldn't have been my path anyways. I enjoy working, and so essentially it was, what am I going to do after hockey? I wanted to do something with sports. Had some offers to stick around in Boston and New York and to go, more into that financial sector. And I don't know, I just didn't really want to wear a suit and work on Wall Street. But it was good that there was an option there. And this came up. It was from a soccer friend that I was grabbing a cup of coffee with one day, and he mentioned, I mentioned to him that I was looking at buying a gym in town to train athletes. He mentioned to me that indoor turf is really needed in Red Deer. Kind of the light bulb moment that we could do both, and that's when the idea was born.
Awesome. Now, going back, you said it was dream to play pro hockey, dream to play in the Olympics. if you were to describe those very first moments, getting onto the ice with amazing players and that very first game, and then comparing that experience to the experience of stepping onto the Olympic ice, and then the very first time you opened up the doors to your business. What was those three different feelings?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'd say very similar for the first pro game or first NHL game to the Olympics, which was kind of neat because, you know, my first pro game was in 2005. My first NHL game was in, you know, the 2005-2006 season. And I didn't play in the Olympics till 2018. And so somewhere along the way, I just stopped getting nervous before games, because when you play enough of them, right? And I was nervous, you know, playing in the Olympics, right? Like I had nerves that I hadn't felt since I was a rookie. So that was kind of neat. This going up, I just remember it going up and then the reality hitting that my work has really just begun. You know, I had spent so much time and effort trying to get the thing up, you know, working with the county, working with local investors and shareholders, and just really sharing the dream and the vision that I had. And so all of that and just everything that goes along with the construction process, I mean, it's a lot of work. That it was one of those like, oh crap, like now we have to actually run this thing. Like, you know, it's not over yet. It's kind of like a sports psychologist used this one time about climbing a mountain. He said, you know, what should that mountain climber be focused on? And everyone said, reaching the top of the mountain. And he says, if that's all you're focused on, you're dead, because you still got to come down. And I think that this going up was kind of reaching the top, so to speak. Like, all right, it's up, but now we gotta get back down and we gotta do the business. So yeah, different feelings, but the ones, the nerves, definitely more on the hockey side of things.
Was there somebody particular that you couldn't wait to play against or play with?
Yeah, I mean, I got a chance to play with Mario Lemieux and Sidney Crosby, Mark Recchi, Marc-Andre Fleury, like some really, I mean, Hall of Famers, obviously. So that was neat. So I think as a rookie, that was the year that Mario was his last year, and he was the owner. So he's the owner player, which was neat. And being able to play with him was really cool. Obviously Sid, playing with him was awesome. I got to play with him for 2 different seasons. I was up and down my second season. And so great experience. And then, yeah, there were other guys too that, you know, just guys playing against them that I grew up that I really respected. You know, playing with Chris Chelios was amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So guys like that, right? You know, American Hall of Fame defenseman, one of the greatest U.S. defensemen of all time, and being teammates with him was pretty neat.
Wow, very, very cool. It seems like you've had the entrepreneur blood inside of you ever since. Getting into Harvard, that's not an easy task. And you were able to do Harvard successfully and pursue a career in hockey. Now, how did you balance that life? And then how did you balance the educational stuff and then also the training stuff?
Yeah, I was just well trained. My mom made it pretty clear in high school that if you don't get all A's and B's, you won't play hockey. So it actually, my high school, I graduated from St. Sebastian's High School, and I did 3 years there. And the workload at that school, I mean, we had a 1 to like anywhere from 6 to 12 ratio between a teacher and student. So you can't hide, right? And the workload there, and combining playing multiple sports and the homework and the travel for hockey was worse than college. College is, here's your syllabus, you have a paper due on this date, a paper due on that date. Obviously there's more at stake, right? If you fail one paper, you might fail the class, but I just found it a lot easier to manage my time in college. Yeah, so I think a lot of it was just ingrained at early on. My mom kind of made it very clear, you want to keep playing hockey, make sure you're an A and B student, which wasn't easy. It was a grind. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not that smart. It just I had to work for it.
Wow, somebody who graduated from Harvard saying they're not that smart.
Hockey helped. Yeah, hockey helped in there. But yeah, and then as far as the entrepreneur, I had an older brother that I get it from him.
Mhm.
I think he was running a shoveling business when he was 9, and he had, I think, 12-year-olds working for him, neighborhood kids working for him. And so he's always had that bug in him, and I've learned from him. And I think I mentioned to you last time we spoke that, when you play in the NHL, you get approached a lot to invest in different projects and endeavors. And I realized pretty quick that, I could lose a lot of money if I don't start doing my own homework, because no one has ever come with an investment and saying, hey, you know what? I don't think this is going to work, right? I think this is a terrible idea. Probably lose your money, but do you want to invest, right? Every time you get an offer, it's the greatest thing ever. And so it was my own research that I would do.
I would imagine that once people found out, oh, you signed a new contract, all of a sudden all these people come in and go, hey, I got this new project for you.
Yeah. I mean, to a certain degree, for sure. And then a lot of athletes do invest. Some just give their money over to money managers. Others are keep a little bit and do their own thing. So within even the locker room, there's different guys investing in different things. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities. Let's put it that way. Yep.
Now, so you're a type of person who's not like one or the other. Lots of people go, well, if I'm going down this path, this is what I'm going to focus on, and I just can't do everything. But you're this and that. So you took the sports world and then also the business world. Now, would you say that because you have a very strong athletic mindset through all the games and the challenges and whatnot, was that something that gave you an advantage in the business world?
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a relentless mindset that you need to have when you're an elite athlete, and you have to deal with failure a lot, and you have to learn from it quick, and always there's an opportunity coming. And that's what I teach our athletes here, and I teach it to myself. So you just get used to having to earn and work for things and putting in the work. And also, if things don't work out, you got to be able to pivot, right? And so a lot of that's business, right? Put in the time ahead of time, do your research, do your homework, plan this thing out, and then launch it. And if it isn't working the way you wanted it to, be able to pivot. And yeah, that's sports, right? So I mean, that's why the best coaches are the ones that within a game can change up systems and can change game plans, because they're just going on the fly. And so it's helped a lot. But just the competitive mindset too, right? Of this is my new competition now, making this thing work. And so a lot of overlap for sure.
Is there a hockey story that not many people know about that is the most entertaining for you to tell? And then also, is there a business story that is also the most entertaining for you to tell?
Yeah, hockey. This is an easy one, although I feel like everyone that's come in the Dome, probably 60% of the people have heard it. And I tell it to our younger athletes just because I think one of the biggest problems that young athletes have today, and just young adults, is just a fear of failing. And because of that, they hold back or they don't go for certain things. And one of my jobs here at the Dome, and I work with athletes and I work with their mindset, is just trying to free them up. I basically tell them, you're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes, right? The best athletes in the world still do it. Learn from it. And there's always an opportunity coming, right? The next pitch, the next play, like that's got to be your mindset. So I tell them a story about my rookie year, my second NHL game in Pittsburgh. I scored on my own goalie, like not like a puck went off my skate scored, but I actually shot the puck really hard and really well into my own net, and scored on Marc-Andre Fleury. And yeah, it was super embarrassing. I wanted to crawl into a hole and never come out. And in between periods, actually, I was, the guys could tell I was pretty down. And Sidney Crosby came up to me and gave me a pat on the shin pads and said, "Hey, we're going to get it back." And, I was like, yeah, I believed him. And in that next period, which was the third period against the Canadiens, I ended up scoring my first NHL goal. So I just tell that story. I scored 2 goals that game on both teams. I'm probably one of the only players in the history of the game to say that. But it's a funny story, and it sucked at the time scoring on my own goalie, but it's just to highlight the fact that like there was still an opportunity coming, and that was the third period. So if I couldn't get out of my own way, and if I was still regretting what happened in the second, I don't score my first NHL goal, which was like a lifelong dream of mine, right? So yeah, so that'd be one of the hockey stories. I have many more. From a business standpoint, and gets back to your last question about has hockey ever helped you? I didn't even know what payables and receivables were to start. I just knew how to put together a team and to run a team, and I just knew I had to find someone that did, right? And that I trusted. So, I'm learning on the fly now. I do, thankfully. But there's so much I didn't know about day-to-day business operations, and that's okay. I just know what a winning team is. And for me, it's a person that hires and fires. I mean, it's character is the main thing I'm looking for. Because people can learn almost anything, it's if they have enough time and the will to do it. So we just want to find, high character people that want to work hard and get better.
Cool. Being in the spotlight in your playing days, and also being in the middle of media as well. There's a lot of negative talk, especially if you did something like yourself scoring on your own net. So I'm assuming there's a lot of media that comes to you and then ask you these tough questions, and then also you see your name in print and stuff. How do you face that type of negativity?
You just get used to it, right? Like you can't. I mean, if you want to play, it's what you signed up for. At the end of the day, when especially when you turn pro, you're an entertainer now, and you're paid to perform. And if you're not performing, you have to expect that you're going to take some heat. So I think if anything, it could break you, or it lights a fire underneath you that gets you going. I used to have fun with the media oftentimes, and sometimes what they say is warranted. Oftentimes they're just looking for a story, to sell more papers or whatever it is. But yeah, sometimes you have fun with them and you mess around with them. But at the end of the day, it's just what you sign up for, and it comes with the territory, right? So you can't handle it. Yeah.
Because I would think it would be very difficult. Like, right, I hear lots of people say, "Oh, just don't read the papers, don't look at the news, don't go on Twitter." I think it would be a lot more tougher nowadays to avoid any of that social media too, right? So is it true that lots of people just don't look at it?
No, they look at it. Yeah, or they're fine, because an aunt that they haven't talked to for 7 years will call them and tell them about it, or who knows, right? But I would say most look at it, and maybe some don't. They know what's going on, but honestly, like that's a personal one too. Like, to be honest, because it's really like, again, for me, I'd mentioned early in the show, like who I am. It's man of faith, and that wasn't always the case. So to start my career, I really, really cared about what media was saying and what people were saying and what coaches and all that stuff, right? Towards that second half of my career and the end of my career, I didn't care as much. Like, I wasn't trying to please man. I was trying to, please God. And so, yeah, I still cared, especially what my teammates thought of my coaches, but you just kind of, that's how I learned how to do it. I don't know how other people do. And I know that some teammates I've played with actually struggle with it to the point where it does get to them, and maybe they drink a little too much or what is it, but it is something that's real. I think there's no escaping it. When you're a pro athlete, it's part of the territory. You got to figure out a way to deal with it, and that's how I was able to deal with it.
Now, when it comes to being that elite athlete and also the ones that aren't as elite, what would you say is the difference between those two?
Oh, that's a loaded question. it could be so many different things. Opportunity, you know, an opportunity in you know, volume of being able, the volume of practicing and playing growing up, like how many touch points you have with that. It could be opportunity of having good coaches versus average coaches or bad coaches. There's so much that goes into it. There's defensemen that were way more talented than me and probably better that didn't get the opportunities I've had and didn't get the career I had. And there's defensemen that I'm way better or was way better than that got certain opportunities and maybe took more advantage of them than I did and had way better careers than me, right? So that's just such a loaded question. I mean, the only other thing I'd say is I'd have a hard time being a jockey in the Kentucky Derby, right? So there's that, at some point there is that physical aspect that kicks in, right? I've never seen a 6'4" jockey before, right? So, but yeah, I don't even know if there's not a one universal answer. There's really not. And the other part of it too is, and this is just one aspect, is just some people just don't want it. They're not willing to do what it takes. It's not easy to be an elite athlete. It's a full-time gig. It's, you know, everyone wants to play in front of the fans and make the millions of dollars, but they don't realize that those athletes work.
Yeah.
And they work and they work, and some people just aren't willing to sacrifice. So all of the above and more and more. Yeah.
At the beginning, you talked about the challenges that you faced during this period of time with opening up your business, and then with COVID and all that kind of stuff. How did you navigate through all that and keep your business going and still become successful in it? Yeah,
I mean, just you pivot, right? Like it's you have to keep pivoting. You just keep going. You don't quit. It has been terrible, quite frankly. I mean, it's just been really, really hard. And in many ways, I feel like we're starting over again, starting next week, right? Fall, winter, spring are our big seasons, and it's been a grind, that's for sure. But what's the alternative? The alternative is quitting, and that's just not going to happen. So you pivot. You surround yourself with a good team. I have a great team here. They're way smarter than I am. They're experts in their lanes and their fields, and my job is to just steer the ship and make sure the team's going. But nope, it hasn't been easy. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It has sucked. So,
if you could share with us with regards to the Dome, some of the more unique aspects that you're able to offer for people coming in for training.
Yeah, I mean, we truly do long-term athletic development. I'm always almost reluctant to mention that phrase because it's super watered down. We train athletes in 5 pillars, is what we call them. So that would be technical, tactical, physical, mental, and character / lifestyle. So that's our 5 pillars. And for an example, I've played at the highest levels with guys that are technically off the charts, but mentally they're just really weak, or they're just terrible teammates, right? And those guys are a dime a dozen at the lower levels, right? You have to be really, really good to be a bad teammate at the pro level. Like, that's how talented technically you are, right? Say, but so we want well-rounded athletes in all 5 pillars, and we actually do it. And so our staff is more impressive than our facility, and our facility is state of the art. We have the nicest indoor baseball facility in all of Canada, hands down. So we have a high performance center that has machines and equipment in it that, you know, we don't know exists in North America. So it's really, really state of the art, but it's the staff and it's their passion to develop people, not just athletes. We have 70-year-old clients that just want general health, right? That's what really makes us special. And yeah, and that's why when people come and they sit and they taste what we have to offer, right? And that we have a very high retention rate for that reason for a new startup. So we're happy with that. Yeah.
In this day and age, there's not a lot of talk about staying healthy and active. And that's probably one of the reasons why this pandemic has lasted so long, because people who aren't active are more susceptible to being sick. So if you had the opportunity to go out there and promote activity, healthiness, and all that kind of stuff, what would be the first thing that you would do?
Yeah, I guess it depends on the age, right? And where people are at. But I think for me, like we want sustainable lifestyles. And so we have a spectrum here of either programs or nutritional plans or strength and conditioning plans, right? And there's all these different entry points. And what I would say is just have something that's sustainable. Consistency over time is what's most important. It's not a magic potion. It's literally consistency over time. And the more consistent and the better system that you're in over time will have the best results. Mm-hmm. So for someone that's doing absolutely nothing, we would just say, what's sustainable for you? Like, let's just get you going, get you active. And maybe that's just being a recreational adult slow pitch player, right? And then we would go from there to like, all right, hey, let's try working you out one day a week. But even in the workout now, we're going to focus more on mobility and your nutrition than we are going to be loading up any squat rack or bench press, right? Mm-hmm. And because we just want sustainability, and that's just for your general health. So everything's there's always a progression. It's kind of meeting people where they're at. Everyone's different, and we want something that works for them. And we have the product. We just have to scale it back or push it forward, if that makes sense.
How do you motivate your clients when they are, let's say, when they hit a funk?
Yeah. So for our athletes, very few athletes have slipped by me here without being asked what their dream is and what their goal is. And we're serious about that, because when you hit that funk, or when you're doing sled pulls, Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. before school, it's not going to be that fun. And so the dream and the goal, which is the, kind of the finish line, that's what motivates them. And it's basically accountability. So when they sign up with us and their parents are here, we go over, what's the dream? What's your goal? Okay, I want to play college baseball. Perfect. Love it. Be more specific. What league in college? What team? I want to play for Villanova. Perfect. Love it. Good. Here we go. And then we start at the finish line, and then we work our way back. We say, okay, here's the deal. We're not going to guarantee that, but we're going to do everything we can to get you there. And you're going to hit tough spots. You're going to be in ruts, but we're going to hold you accountable, because this is what we're all signing up for, right? This is project so-and-so, and the goal here is college baseball. And we gave you our word. We're going to do everything we can to help you get there. And we expect the same from you. And it's just working with the athletes on that. So
are you a yeller?
No, I'm not. I only yelled one time. It was more of a safety issue here, but no, I think you can get your point across without yelling. I'm a dad, and very rarely do I yell, but my kids know when I'm being serious. Yeah.
So would you say that your transition from pro athlete to business was challenging or kind of smooth?
For me, smooth. I mean, I've been very thankful to have this job to transition into. I know a lot of ex-professional athletes, they don't know what they're going to do after they retire. I did. So I'm really thankful for that. And like we said, there's a lot of overlap, right? You got to work hard in pro sports. You got to work hard at doing this. Yeah. A lot of learning. And that was one thing in my career. I was always, trying to get better. I might not have been getting faster. You know what I mean? Like certain things might have caught up to me, but I was always trying to be a student of the game and think the game better. And so, yeah, you just take those things into the workplace here, and I knew it'd be a big learning curve. But it's just always trying to get better for the sake of what? For me, no, for the sake of the Dome. And so we run this like a pro sports team. And once people sign on to work here, right, just like you negotiate with pro hockey, right? And once you sign that contract, then everything is about that team and everything is about the success of that team and winning the championship. And that's how we run it here. It's like once you're on, you're joining a family, you're joining a team, and now it's a dome first mentality. And we all have different roles on that. And let's stick to that and work together. So
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that we run it very much like a sports team here. That's one of the only things I know, right? So yeah.
Now there's a lot of people out there who are struggling to make that decision. Do I stay with my job or do I let it go and then do this new thing or this new business venture? What made you decide to go, you know what? Okay, hockey's done. I'm going to go into this full time.
Yeah, for me, passions are starting to change, right? Desires. I was starting to get really excited about this and less excited about regular season hockey games in November, right? I really enjoyed playoffs. And my body, you know, like there is a time limit on pro sports. And so I was able to play till I was 35, which is getting pretty old for pro hockey. So yeah, just those two things. The other part of what I did, and you know, this is a big project that we took on, but it's just that mentality of you do your homework, you do your research, and then you make a decision and you go for it, and not being afraid to fail or have it not go the way you want to. You do everything you can to prevent it. If anything, the vision and the idea I had has only gotten better because I've surrounded myself with a great team and staff that they've taken the vision from here to here, right? So, but it's just like, just go for it. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of how I was when I was little. Like, I want to play in the NHL. Let's just go for it, right? So if you can have a job that you enjoy, yeah, dream big, pursue excellence. That's our slogan, like dream big and then pursue excellence. It's not perfection, but it's doing the very best you can with what you have in any given moment and take that mentality into any work you do or any job you do. So I don't know, it's more simple. Yeah. Some people don't have that luxury though, right? There's, you know, as a man to be a provider of the home, some people, they can't do a job that they love, right? Because there's bills and there's nothing wrong with that, you know? And so for me, thankfully we had a little bit of a cushion. I could pursue this without compromising, you know, some duties as a dad and a husband. So.
Now you've been coached by some amazing coaches. You've also worked with some amazing coaches as well. What would you say is the best coaching advice that you've ever gotten?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think Dan Bosma was one of my favorite coaches I've ever had. I had him in Wilkes-Barre, Pittsburgh's farm team. And then Dan went on to win a cup with Pittsburgh and coach in the NHL for a long time. But we were talking about confidence one day, and every player plays better when they're confident. But he was trying to get to the bottom to the surface of what gives you confidence. And I really appreciated that because I was like, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know, like true lasting confidence, not you listen to like a pump up song in the parking lot and you're all confident until a little adversity comes and then you're just a wreck, right? So, and then he says it's hard work and it's preparation. That's it. Like you work hard and you prepare. And that stuck with me I teach that to kids nowadays. You know, you work hard, you prepare. That's going to lead to executing something. And the more you execute something, the more confident that you're going to be at doing it. And so I would say that talk was great because it just got to the root of, for me on the ice, yeah, I play great when I'm confident, but how can I get confident, right? Well, here's the equation. Now you just got to go do it, right? So, yeah, that's something that sticks out. And also the best coaches are ones that they hold their players accountable. They want them to get better. They truly care about the person, not just the player, right? Like you're not just a number or a player. They actually care about you as a man or a young woman, as a person. But they also allow you to make mistakes, not necessarily the same ones, right? But So the worst coaches I've played for are the ones that when you make that first mistake, it's over.
Mhm.
And that just creates a horrible culture, and it really can hurt a player. So I really appreciated the coaches that called me out, like, that wasn't good enough, Noah. You made this mistake, you made that mistake. Do you know why? Yeah, I get it. Okay, enough, or you're going to be sitting down. Got it, right? That's making a player better. Not how could you make that mistake and now we're sending you back down to the minors, right? So I played for those guys too, and that's not fun.
Well, you scored on your own net, and they still sent you out for next shift. So
yeah, but then they sent me down after that. So
if you had the opportunity to be on the world stage and share one message that you want everybody in the world to remember Noah by, what would that message be?
That's simple to me. Just a Christian man, which is so controversial nowadays in 2021. It just blows my mind. But that's it. I didn't grow up in it. It's just who I am first and foremost. I could care less about the Olympics and the NHL career and the president, this, that. Like, I would give that all away if I had to choose between the one of the two. So 100%. That's what I want my son and my 3 girls and to know me as, and my wife knows that to be true. That's why she married me. That's hands down most important, without even a doubt. It's not even no brainer. Yeah.
Right. Before I let you go, I got 5 quick for fun questions for you. Give me the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
All right. You have an opportunity to pick any lineup, starting lineup. Who would you like to line up with?
5 guys?
Yeah. Of course, you're in the lineup, but who's the other 4 or 5, including the goalie?
Yeah, I'd say some of my favorite teammates. I would say a guy named Byron Ritchie.
Mm-hmm.
Played in the NHL. Played with him. This is supposed to be quick. Sorry. Okay. I have my college goalie in net, Dove, Cromwell Morris. I'd have Byron Ritchie out there. D partner's hard. I want to stay away from this one because I'm going to get in trouble. But I'll stay safe and go with an old vet, Lyle Overline. I think Crosby would be in there. And Liam Reddix would probably be my other guy. Or my brother. Yeah, wow. And then I have 3 brother-in-laws that play hockey too that I really hope don't watch this. Because I didn't say any of them, but that's probably because I talk to them all the time. And yeah. So those guys would be right in there too.
Hollywood calls and go, Noah, we want to do a biopic on you. You get to choose whoever you want to play your best friend. Who would that person be?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon's at your house right now, and he goes, we got to get to know each other a bit more, but first I'm hungry. What is that special dish that you could prepare for him?
Yeah, that would be Welch's famous slop, which would be in the morning. It's a breakfast that's borderline world famous at this point. Homemade hash browns and a bunch of other stuff, eggs and what have you. So if we were having breakfast and a cup of coffee, I'd make that. If not, I'd make Welch's famous chicken parm from scratch, which is also borderline world famous. So
I like how you already have names for them. Welch's most famous.
Yeah.
If you get to travel back in time, which time period would you like to travel back to?
That's a good one. I've been really trying to know my history lately with all the craziness that's going on in the world right now. So, oh man, I mean, I can go way back to, different times in the Bible, Old Testament and New Testament. Even I watched a thing on Oliver Cromwell not too long ago, and what was going on in England, and that was fascinating. There's a lot. That's a really good one. These are great questions, by the way. Even like the Reformation. Yeah, man, I don't know.
I'll let you pick three time periods.
I'd say during the Reformation, during the Protestant Reformation, I think that's just a fascinating time in history. Civil War, I would go back to that time too. In the U.S., big great time in history, obviously. And way before that, yeah, I would have to go like old, way back, like almost 2,000 years ago of, yeah, like Roman Empire. Just seemed like it was wild. And, yeah, back in the day to that. Yeah.
Awesome. Last question. What is success like? But before that, give me a number between 1 to 4.
I'll go 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. So how is success like an umbilical cord?
Wow, that's a, yeah, the umbilical cord feeds the baby, right? Yeah, I would say, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to draw that parallel, but whatever you're plugged into, whatever is, you know, your source of information coming your way, I mean, you just got to make sure it's good stuff, full of nutrients, actual good things. Yeah, but
Nice.
yeah, good job. You got me again.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time. Any last words from you? And also, if anybody wants to reach out to get to know more about what you do and also potentially sign up for a course or a training program, what's the best way to reach out?
Yeah, no, I have nothing else to add. Thanks for having me. Good job. thedomereddare.com is our website, and can come stop in or go on the website and look. We have a video that runs on a loop, so you can actually see our facility. And yeah, hopefully we'll get some teams from Edmonton and Calgary coming in and competing here. We've had that in the past, so it's always fun to get everyone from around the province coming in.
Awesome. I look forward to checking out sometime.
Right on. Thanks.
Right, well, thank you very much again, everybody else. He is Noah Welch. My name is Fong. Until next time, today is the day to lock your peak potential. We'll see you later.